Hey everyone, and welcome to episode 17 of Robbie's Backstage Bants. I honestly can't believe we're on 17, I'll be honest with you. And today I'll be chatting with Christina Modestou, who you may know from shows including Six, We Will Rock You, In the Heights, and a hell of a lot more. So welcome, Christina.
Hi, thanks for
How
having
are you
me.
doing?
Yeah, I'm really good. Just saying, it's quite cold, isn't it? Got into
Freezing.
winter now.
I'm absolutely freezing. So how have you been coping with all of this? No theatre, bit down. How's it been?
Yeah, you know what? Lockdown 1.0, I
Yeah.
coped rather well because I found myself things to focus on. I
Yeah.
sort of was one of the fortunate people who got to kind of finish a job just before we went into lockdown 1.0. So it didn't quite hit me really until probably 3 months into that, where
Yeah.
I would normally kind of get itchy feet, between jobs.
Yeah.
And then it kind of hit me. And then I managed to do sort of my own cabaret, which then kept me busy.
Absolutely.
And then when I got back from London from doing that, lockdown 2.0, and I'm in Glasgow, and we were a bit later going into lockdown than you guys.
Ah,
I feel like this time is weirdly, it's kind of one of those jammy things where it's really nice to be with family and it's really
yeah.
nice to be in one place, but
It's just
I
getting
just
a
really
bit much
miss
now.
it. I miss it. I miss
100%.
working with other people, creating with other people. And
Yeah.
although I'm still trying to do that, because I believe you can create anywhere. You can
Yeah.
create in a prison cell if you want to.
Well, if you found yourself in that
I don't know why
situation,
I came
you
up with
certainly
that.
could. Yeah.
I know. But I'm trying to still do it, but human connection, I think, is the thing that,
Yeah.
artistic connection and having an audience. That was one thing I feel like with the cabaret, I feel really lucky because we did a date in Huddersfield and then we moved to Southwark for 4 shows.
Yeah.
And so having like a London audience and having guests and being able to
Amazing.
experience that this year it just kind of, it happened all too quickly, but
Yeah.
I don't remember any show because I soaked it in,
Oh,
just the
absolutely. That's the best thing
the
to do.
vibe of it, and I miss it. Yeah, I
Yeah.
really miss it.
Bet you wish you could have gone on longer than just 4 shows and just keep it moving.
Yeah, although I am a big fan of like you do it, it's fleeting. I think
Yeah.
that's what I miss most about having
Just
live
moving different jobs
theatre.
all over the place.
Yeah, and especially now with telly, you can watch it anytime, you can catch up
Yeah.
anytime, all that sort of stuff. You can't do that with theatre. You're either there
Or you're not.
and and every night is different.
It
And
is.
that's the joy of it.
It's
And
the
yeah,
mishaps
I
as
really
well, the
miss
things
that.
that go wrong that people still
Um,
enjoy.
yeah, which I'm totally, capable of. It always
I raise my
happens to
hand.
me.
I accept this. This is
Always, I
me. I'm
accept.
sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah.
accept my fate. It's me.
So the first
I'm
thing.
convinced this is what's
Oh,
kept my career going because sorry, Rob, because
oh,
they do say that if you fall in a theatre, you will return. Like if you
oh,
fall on stage, you'll return to
really?
that theatre.
Well,
So I genuinely think my clumsiness is what's maybe kept me working.
oh, back again. Wonder why this was. Oh, fell over last time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. I'm getting this part. I fell over last time I was here.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So the first thing I want to talk about today is how you got to where you are. So the first question is, what is the journey of how you got to where you are today? Very vague. I'm just gonna sit back
Um,
and enjoy.
I'll try and I'll try and be quick. I grew up in South Wales. My parents are both Greek Cypriot. They know nothing about theatre, but
Oh,
we have a lot of music in our culture.
yeah.
So my parents have always loved music, and I don't think they realised their love for theatre until I started doing it. I think I was just a really hyperactive child, and they didn't know what to do with me. So
Me too.
yeah, they put me into drama class, and I never sort of looked back. And then sort of realized I could do it as a profession as a
Yeah.
young child and never really wanted to do anything else. Went away and trained at like 17 and then graduated in 2010 and then came into
Amazing.
the industry.
And
Yeah.
then there
So
she was out in the world.
out in the world,
Oh,
unleashed.
out she is gone. Yep. And just take them brains off you and off you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
So was there any other career paths you were sort of looking into before you went down the acting route, or was it always that's where you were going and that's how it was going to be?
No, I think we're really fortunate in our generation that although there are still systemic pressures, like to, I did get the talk of, but do you not want to do your A levels and have something to fall back on? And I thought, I don't want it. I don't want to
I
fall
don't want
back
to
on
have to fall back.
anything.
No, I get
No,
that
it was
completely.
never a question for me of being in this industry. I've always wanted to be in this industry, never.
Absolutely.
And even when I'm out of work, like acting work, I tend to try and find work within the industry that keeps me like sort of tied over.
Yeah.
And I've taught since the age of 15 and I love my teaching. So I've always kept that, going, and my coaching and things. So I've always kept that going. But no, I've never wanted to do anything else, which is quite boring, I guess. But
Well,
I did have that choice. Do I go
completely
down an
understand you
academic
on
route?
that, yeah.
Yeah, but I think we're so fortunate nowadays that you can go back to uni at any age.
Yeah.
So if you really want to fall back on something,
You can
there
go.
is always
It's
something
not a
there.
problem, yeah.
Yeah, kind of lucky
You've got
in that
that,
way, I guess.
you've got that option. You can just scoot back over. I mean, obviously it's not
Yeah.
desirable, but because what I was thinking is I'd like to go down that route too. And I'm thinking, well, I'm gonna go do A levels, but not for the fallback reason, but more to have the experience of having the A levels there. And I think that's something I was thinking I won't have to go back to college.
Yeah, exactly. And I think as long as everyone takes a different path and different journey, and as long as you're doing what you want to do,
Well, exactly.
toward that kind of gets you towards your goals. It's your way
Exactly.
of doing things, and there's no right or wrong.
There isn't. There's
all...
lots of different routes into the industries, which I think people need to understand more. You don't have to have loads of money, go to the biggest theatre schools in the universe to get places, which is something that really
it's
needs
very
to be
true. You
more
don't,
known.
and it's all about your teachers. I think that's who you
Absolutely.
learn from.
100%.
The only thing, obviously those big schools give you something. What they give you is a foot in the door.
Yes.
That's what you pay extra for, I guess.
100%.
Is you're working with current professionals on the courses, and which then increases your opportunity of getting work once you leave and leaving with an agent and all that sort of stuff. But that's the kind of extra bonuses of, but there's
other ways.
There's emails and there's self-tapes and there's ways of getting agents without that and finding work without that, if you have the talent to back it up and the drive. So
exactly, the motivation's more than anything is what you need.
Yeah.
So we're gonna now jump into a little chat about your career. Now it could be a long one. There's a lot in here. And
I don't know.
I think I went in order this time.
Okay.
I think I've got this. Starting with We Will Rock You. I mean, it's not everything, but we're starting with We Will Rock You.
Okay, yeah. All right.
Where we're going. So obviously you covered Killer Queen, which is mad.
I did, yeah.
How was that?
It was mad. Going into the audition was because it was one of my first auditions out of drama school.
Mm-hmm.
And I was really fortunate because they took a chance on me, really. And I went in thinking, I didn't even think about Killer Queen. I remember watching it when I was 17. I didn't even think that was a possibility at 21 or 20 or whatever it was. I didn't think that was a possibility. So I thought, meet Oscar Scaramouche. And then when they said Killer Queen, my jaw dropped because I thought, well, that's the part I wanted, but you can't. Surely I'm too young.
Yeah.
And it could have been anyone's job. It was, I think, the final two is between me and another graduate, and they just, it's luck of the draw sometimes, and I learned so much on that show. And dealing with a music system like that is, the Dominion, it's mad, try and fail and try again, I think. But, you do your best with it. And I think if I was to do that job again now, I would do it very differently with the experience now, knowing what I know, But I had the best time. I learned so much. And I loved playing that role and the costumes but I loved my ensemble track as well. I think I gave myself whiplash from that show because every night you're like, so for 14 months, the pain is real.
And obviously there's the matter of Brian May.
Oh, that was epic. I remember my very final round for that show.
Oh my God.
And the casting director said to me, you're going to go in there and there's going to be a lot of people in there. Don't panic. It's all going to be fine. I thought, okay, who's going to be in there? And as I sort of went in, there was a table from one side of the room all the way to the other side. And then I realised that Brian and Roger and Ben Elton were all sat and that was in the final. That was before we even got
I could
the job.
just turn back around. Oh,
Yeah, just I think I've opened the wrong room.
hi Brian. Sorry.
Sorry, just picking up my mop and leaving.
Who are you?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But they were always really, really lovely. And whenever they used to come and play on the show, because sometimes for special occasions they would come and play
Yes.
the guitar riff in Bohemian Rhapsody, which was insane. They used to like buy us pizzas in between shows, and we always used to hang
Yeah.
out. It was really, one thing about that show, and what I'm super grateful for, is it brought me into the industry in like this kind of family.
Yeah.
And there's certain jobs that you do and you think, I don't know about you, but when you do shows, you become a family. It doesn't
Yeah.
happen on every job. When you're younger, it happens more often, I think, because everyone does it for the love of it.
Not every show, but yeah, most.
Yeah, but most shows, yeah. So when it really comes together and you're brought into that vibe, it kind of launch pads you into the industry with a warmth and a vibe of, what to expect and how you want to treat people when you're, going through it as well. Because
Yeah.
I was very much learning on the job, So yeah, it was great.
Everyone's got to learn at some point.
Exactly.
And then, I mean, this could be completely wrong. In the Heights.
Yeah, the next like sort of big one after that. Yeah.
Jump up into In the Heights. I absolutely love this show.
Oh, it's my favorite.
Did you just take it away? In the Heights.
Hands
What was the
down.
experience?
I think for me, it was about a whole bunch of people wanting something came together, and not just cast. I mean, like creatives. Everyone was producers. Like everyone was at a turning point where they were wanting something for themselves and creatively.
Mm-hmm.
And so that show kind of it fed us the exact meal we wanted, if you know what I mean.
Absolutely.
Like we just had a joy creating it and performing it and being with each other. Like it was crazy. And even just everyone was so talented, down to like the sound design, the lighting design, director, choreographer, cast, crew, company managers. Like it's just a team of just like superheroes.
Absolutely legends.
It was just really short-lived. We had like 5 weeks rehearsals and then 4 weeks performance, and that was it. It was done.
I've said it before, I'll say it again. Bring it back.
I know. Maybe when the film comes out, let's see if they.
That would be nice.
Would be nice, wouldn't it?
We're missing the film. Where's the film? Who knows anymore?
Who knows anymore?
Where's everything? What's going on? I blame Boris. Sorry. In the Heights just sound like an absolute treat. Now moving swiftly on. I know we're gonna have to get through because there's a few of them. You're in town.
It's gonna be for like 2 hours.
Get mentioned ever.
It doesn't get mentioned very often. And do you know what? I don't remember much of that show because I covered so many parts. No, well, and I covered so many parts. I had to like learn it and go.
Yeah.
Like so many times I went on stage without any rehearsal, and I just had to like trust my own work and just be like, I don't know what, you like those dreams you get. It was like living that every night.
No.
But with, again, I've been really lucky actually, saying this now as me realize, again, with the most supportive cast who were just a joy. Like, they, even if you did make a big screw up, they wouldn't let it show. They were totally there, so that made it easier, I guess. But yeah, I couldn't sing you many songs from it because
it just happened. It's gone. No more.
It's gone. No more. Oh, I loved it though. I loved it. And it was so dark.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, it was great.
It's a big difference to the next thing we're going to talk about, Shrek.
Yeah, like literally like polar opposite.
And now we're going to clump the two Shreks together because obviously you did Shrek more than once. We clump them and let's go. Shrek. What was the experience of being in such a well-loved cartoon brought to life?
Yeah.
In a way.
It was great. It was hard actually because it's one of those shows where you're on the road with it. It was my first tour, the first time I went. So it was learning how to be on the road, which is very different to being in the same place. And it has its pros and cons. Like it has pros in that you're at a different venue every week, so it feels like really fresh.
You're all over the place.
And yeah, and you get a change of scenery, which you don't get in the West End. You know, you go to the same place every day, so it kind of feels like it stays fresh. But you are eat, sleep, breathing with everyone. I say that like but is a bad thing. It's not a bad thing, but it just takes a hot second to get used to that, I think. Yeah. And it's one of those shows that's so like high energy and happy that sometimes, you know,
it is, yeah.
Sometimes you come off and you're like exhausted.
You've got to be so animated all the time.
Yeah, all the time. And the first time I did it, I was in a fat suit quite a lot of the time. So it was like, yeah. But again, had like the best time and learned so much, and yeah, it was a joy. Another joy. Like I said, I've been really fortunate. I can't complain.
No. Exactly. I mean, you play again the roles, Mama Bear and Dragon, polar opposites, really, isn't it? You've got massive, fat suit, and then you've got Dragon.
I guess both like warm in terms of vocally, you get quite like warm tones and quite a rich sound. So I guess like vocally, they're not worlds away.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I guess
definitely costume-wise.
That's why, costume-wise and levels of sass.
Yeah. 100%. Which Shrek is, everyone loves Shrek. I mean, if you don't love Shrek, who are you?
If you don't love Shrek, Robbie's coming for you.
I'm coming. I'm gonna get you. I will. So next up, Rent. I was looking, and you've covered two of the most incredible roles in the show.
No, two roles which I never thought I'd ever get to play professionally. You know, no, whenever I've watched that show, I've always thought I would always get cast as Joanne.
Really?
Not as Mimi or Maureen. So when that opportunity came up, I was like, yes, please. Yes, please.
Would you go back and do Joanne to just finish off the cycle?
Yeah, of course.
It's a gorgeous show, isn't
it? It is. It's always been a bucket list show. I remember being like 17 and driving, like just past my test and driving to college, and that was my driving soundtrack. Such a good driving soundtrack.
It's the feel good one, isn't it? You gotta
with heart and heartbreak. Like I think just the issues I think it's fundamentally the show is flawed because obviously the writer Jonathan Larson passed away just before press night.
Yeah.
So it never changed, and it has its like little flaws. I believe if he was still alive, he may have made edits. But then equally, that's what I love about it, is that like
that they're there.
Kind of the whole vibe of it. They're there, and we accept them in the same way that the characters are there, and we accept them no matter what. 100%. You know, even though society sometimes tells us that we shouldn't. You know, and so I think it's a really important show.
The show, doesn't it? And the show's very apt, especially nowadays too. And it's just a gorgeous storyline. I mean, everything about it.
And it changed like music, really, musical theatre. It brought that rockiness, that pop rock to
that, along with Superstar, definitely brought in the rock, which is something I absolutely adore. You don't get much of it, and it's very nice to have in a music sense. It's really, really nice to have. And then after Rent, which I still can't get over you playing Mimi, was 6. Not straight after, but
Was it 6?
Next to
it was. Yes, it was. It was 6.
It was indeed. Look at that.
35mm. I did a show, and then I did 6. Yeah. It was 6.
Wow. Mad. And then the way the show has just gone.
Oh God!
Into a gigantic thing.
No,
did you expect that at all?
I think we knew it was going to be a special show. We knew it was going to do well.
Yeah.
Did we think that album was going to go worldwide? I mean, albums rarely do nowadays.
No.
So, but I suppose the amalgamation of musical theatre and the pop diva aspect of it is what makes it really current as an album.
Yeah, it like applies to more than just the theatre kids, which is something, you know, not just the theatre kids will listen.
Yeah, 100%. It's crazy.
Yeah.
absolutely crazy. I was teaching a 6 workshop the other day, and someone
Oh,
said to me, "Do you know that your song?" And then she read it out. It's had like 30 million streams. And I was like, "What? Little old me and my little flat." Like, I was like, "No." So
be
it
a
is
lion,
mad how
child.
I know it's mad. Like, and that's just my song, let alone like the rest of the album.
I know.
So
I
it's
mean, I
mad to
bet
think.
you're on a lot of people's Spotify Wrap this year.
Yeah.
Definitely. You're on mine. I'll put it that way. Just me speaking for everyone else in the world. But what was that like then? Working with there was 6 of you, literally 6 of you,
Oh,
very small cast. What was that like?
yeah, it was every day was a roller coaster. We only had 2 weeks to rehearse it and get it on its
Right.
feet. And we had no design, we had no set. So it was kind of the prequel to what you see now, if you know what I
Yes,
mean.
different.
So it was literally just, that's why the costumes are so different, because it was
Yeah.
like what we could source at the time. It was almost like, does this show work? And if it does, then we'll make an album and then we'll put an official, which I think should happen more often
It should,
with
because you would get
musicals.
some fantastic things. Can you imagine if they did that with Shrek?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know.
That
So
was
true.
the best.
Just like literally a green face and nothing else.
Yeah,
Like,
that's terrifying in
but
the
it's
show.
true. Like, and also it nurtures the project a bit more. So you see, does it work without bells and whistles? And if it does, then the bells and whistles are only just going to add to that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Um,
Now it clearly
but
did
being
work.
with those like yeah, but being with those like 5 powerhouses was just like, the other 5 girls, it was amazing. But every day was like a weekly rehearsal. So usually I say like week 1 is like meet everyone, you sort of start learning the music, you get the ideas, you look at the set and what it's going to be, and it's kind of chilled, and then you just want to get the notes down. And then week 2 you start like putting it on its feet, and you're testing the water, trying and failing, and but it's still kind of exciting. And then week 3 you're like, I can't do this, I'm never going to be able to do this,
Oh
this is
no.
never going to happen, I am so not talented, I'm having serious imposter syndrome, I'm not meant to be here, this is awful. Like, you sort of do that week 3, and then week 4 it kind of all kind of juggles together.
Yeah.
And then before you know it, you're in tech, and then you're open. And I feel like every day was like that. Every day was like, we've arrived, we're just getting to know each other, great,
Oh,
we've got to get the material learned, okay, we're going to stage it, okay, now this doesn't work, okay, we're going to add this, oh, this doesn't work. And then so we'd go through like a roller coaster of emotions. We'd be like excited, and then we'd be like crying, and then we'd be like excited again, and then we'd be like annoyed, and then we'd laugh till we were like rolling
oh,
on the floor. It was literally like a roller coaster. And because we only had 10 days, maybe 12 days to put it on. And that was from scratch. So that means choreographing everything,
oh no.
choreography and everything. Yeah. So it was, and then we had half a day's tech and then the first show. So we only had half a day on the set before we actually went. So I remember being in the wing just before and just being like, come on, we can do this. Whatever happens, we've got each other's backs. Let's go. So, and then
Yeah.
I'll never forget the end of that opening number. I usually like mention this because I remember being in rehearsals and saying to Lucy Moss, I remember saying, because I had the first line of the show, which was like, hello, London,
Yeah.
and I just thought, I was like, Lucy, what if it's like tumbleweed and no one plays? She was like, trust me, it works. I was like, but Londoners hate panto, like they hate it. So
Mm.
even just shouting out, are we gonna be okay? And she was like, trust me, you have
Going
to
off the
just trust
stage.
me. Yeah, and then after the opening number, because the opening number just sets it up so beautifully, even those doosh, doosh, it
Yeah.
sets it up so perfectly musically, that it's so clever, that the roar that kind of came after the opening number, I was like, okay, all right,
No,
we're on
actually.
board now. Yeah, we're driving. So yeah, it
Yeah.
was mad. It was amazing.
Yeah, and Natalie, you're still in the show today, as you
I
do.
know,
I wish you were
looking
still in the
fierce
show.
as ever.
Get yourself back in there.
Maybe one day, you never know. They might not have me back now.
I think very well.
Bless you.
You need to get your own Blaine costume. And one of the new
Oh, I
ones.
didn't even get, and the balloon
You
costume
get
is my
one.
favorite as well.
Yeah.
Maybe I should message Gabby because I've worked with Gabby Slade, who's the designer on it. She did In the Heights as well,
Yeah.
and she did another show that I did called The Last Mermaid, which was a show with Charlotte Church. She designed that as well. So
Wow.
I've worked with Gabs a few times. So maybe I should call her and say, look, what's the deal?
I need a Blaine costume.
I
Well,
need a balloon costume. Yeah.
no, I need a Christmas gift. So if you were really thinking about what to get me,
So yeah.
yeah. So then moving on from 6, because I'm sure we'll get back there in the fans' questions. Little Shop.
Yeah.
So much.
Oh, that was another bucket list.
Okay.
Not just the show, but also Regent's Park.
Yeah.
I visited that theatre when I first moved to London to train. I didn't even know it was there until I moved to London, and a friend was in a show there, and I went to watch him in that, and was just like, I have to work here. And then weirdly, he ended up doing Little Shop with me. So it was mad, and we've known each other since we were
Great.
kids. So yeah, absolutely mad. But yeah, a proper bucket list,
Mhm.
that show.
I mean,
And to do like a fresh version of it as well.
yeah, it
Like
was
something new and
very
different.
new. I mean,
Mm.
last time we spoke about, I got assaulted by a wasp. So
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's
doing better now.
true.
But yeah, it just sounds fun. And obviously, you had Renee with you,
Renee, yeah, Renee, she's lush.
which is
No,
just we need to go back. Why
she's my
wasn't
little sister.
Why wasn't it filmed? What's going on?
I don't know, I don't
Why?
know.
What's going on? Come on.
But then, again, there's something really special about if you missed it, you missed it. And if you were there, you were there. Like,
Yeah.
we just need to put it on again. How do we make that happen? That would be quite cool, wouldn't it?
Contact someone about that.
Regent's Park next year. Hello.
I'm happy to produce it if you guys want to.
Produce it with chocolate.
Yeah.
No money, just chocolate.
No money. I mean, that'll do. I mean, everyone likes chocolate,
Yeah.
right? So the last thing, the very, very last, I think most recent, is Your Boy in the Dress. The Boy in the Dress.
Yeah, which the album got released
It did.
today. Woohoo! Was it today? Yesterday. Woohoo!
It was still released. Yay!
Yay!
So now everyone can go and listen to you singing away.
Yeah, well, actually, I didn't have a song in The Boy in the Dress. I was a straight actor in The Boy in the Dress. No, I'm joking. But I didn't have a song. You can hear a little bit of Welsh in some of the, I played the referee, so you can hear like a nice clean game, boys, or
There we
something like
go.
that through
We'll
it,
know that's
but
you.
you'll hear a little bit of that.
We'll
But
know that's you.
yeah.
Easy. But how was that? What was that like? That's a new thing.
It is a new thing. I'm a big fan of new things and
Yeah.
creating new things, and I'm also a fan of sort of inspiring our younger generation. And I think the kids in that show were just phenomenal. And the message it sends is important, is really important, and it's just acceptance and I think it's just that those inbred kind of things in society of how we should and shouldn't behave and what's acceptable and what's not acceptable, and these rules that we kind of set up for ourselves or that have been passed on. And it kind of just, one of my fondest memories of that show was being on stage, and in the first row there was a young boy. He must have been about 7 or 8, and he had lippy on. His hair was all spiked up, and he had like and he had like a beautiful dress on. And then next to him, his dad like was sat there in a dress, clearly like for his son. And that was acceptance, like true acceptance.
Yeah.
And that is,
Wow.
if it changes one person's mind or opens one person's mind up to accepting, then it's done its job,
Definitely. Wow.
Yeah.
That must be incredible to see as well from stage. Tear in the eye.
Oh yeah, it's pretty mad. And we, you get, Rent was one of the shows for this, but you get tagged in things all the time where people say, this show changed my life, or this show really affected my my son or my daughter, or it's really brought them out of their shell or given them confidence, and you often get letters like that, or tweets, or letters, and living in the Middle Ages, but sometimes you do get letters, or but it's it's wonderful, because then you're like, well, art has a purpose.
It does.
All art is political, I think. So it's if it can change one person, then you've done your job.
Well, exactly. I think there is a lot of one people that need to get changed right now.
Yeah, I think there's way more than one. Yeah.
So now
let's not go there. Let's not
gone
take
through
a turn.
that. So now let's quickly move on to the fans' questions before this gets too political.
I'll do my best.
So Lucy has asked, what has been your favourite show to be a part of?
Definitely In the Heights. Definitely. I'd do it again in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
And Breathe. I just loved singing that song. And When You're Home as well is my favourite all time.
Epic, honestly.
Yeah.
That's what it gets it for me.
Yeah.
Evie has asked, what was your favourite thing about playing Boleyn?
Oh, I love her cheekiness. I love that she comes across a little bit ditzy, but actually she knows exactly what she's doing. And I loved playing with that.
Yeah.
And my favourite line of the show was at the end of Heartstone. I actually don't even know if it's still in there.
I think it is.
I won't say it in case it spoils a gag for someone, but I loved saying that line at the end of that. Yeah.
If we're on the same wavelength, it's still there.
Still there. Yeah.
Emily's asked, what is it like knowing that your voice has been listened to so many times in the 6-cast recording?
It's crazy. It's weird though, but it doesn't. I feel like loads of people who know me will say it doesn't sound like me. I normally sing, sort of sing quite big songs, and it's so sort of Lily Allen and the Ting Tings. It's got that vibe about it. So I kind of love that there's something out there that isn't quite me. It kind of gives you another angle, but at the same time, I sort of managed to squeeze a little bit out of it at the very end. But it's really overwhelming, and it's a box tick, like a massive box tick for me, like a bucket list tick, not a box tick. That makes it sound like it's not important.
The box.
It kind of takes my breath away a little bit.
Yeah,
I feel really lucky, really, really lucky.
And Ella has asked, what is your opinion on the Queendom?
Sorry, the Welshness. The more the merrier. I think it's amazing. People showing support, and I think there was one moment, wasn't there, where it was starting to get. I think if it ever starts to turn a little bit bitchy, people bring it back and say, no, that we don't allow that here, and I'm all for that. I think that
did happen, I think, last year with cast.
I think that there started to be some comparisons, and there started to be, and I just think that's not, and it's also not what the show is about, and it's not what the show celebrates. And I think
opposite.
I think there's just, as long as there's none of the trolling and another thing, then it's absolutely wonderful, and it brings people together.
It really does.
The amount of people that have met from being fans of the same thing, and I think you don't get that at school. Quite often, everyone's into something different, and you're piled into a class with people you have nothing in common with. You get bullied, and you get made to feel horrible, and then suddenly you find people you can connect with because you're into the same things. So it can be such a wonderful thing.
It is, and that's another great thing about theatre that's brought me so close to many people, and it's brilliant. I absolutely love it.
Yeah.
And now my granddad likes to get his question in. So from Trevor, he wants to say,
"Hi, Trevor."
You get your lines on stage. What do you do?
What do? You power on.
Power on.
You power on. You keep smiling, and you stay in the moment, and you
roll with it.
You roll with it. Usually there's someone there who you can sort of look at and go, please help me with your eyes. Now is a good time to help. But no, you'll find your way back. I just think you've just got to not show it, unless it's panto, in which case the audience are completely on board,
The audience are waiting for you to slip up in panto.
Yeah, they're waiting. They love it. But if it's in like a really dramatic moment, then you just got to kind of roll with whatever kind of I think you just got to trust your instincts in that like little moment. You've
I
just
mean,
got to
you know
kind
the
of
show
go,
well enough, You've been
yeah.
rehearsing for that moment, so it's fine. You'll be fine.
For me, it's the worst bits are not when I forget my line. The worst one is when like my line is about to come, and then my mind just goes
So
like, what is it? What is it? What is it? And then just when that person before feeds you the line, you go, "Bleh," and it just comes out, and you're like, oh, thank God!
thank
Like
God I've got a
that's
brain.
yeah, it's sometimes worse
Yeah,
than like completely forgetting it.
yeah, definitely. And now, the moment that you've been dreading. A little
Oh God.
quiz on how well you know six. Now, obviously,
Okay, God.
I'll explain the conditions. I've made it a little bit easier for you.
Oh, thank God.
It was honestly a bit too cruel that I've been giving the current cast members, so I thought I can't do that. I can't do that. So it's a very special finish the lyric round.
Okay.
The first
Hopefully they're the same lyrics
the
in the
first
vision that we
lyric
did.
is
Okay.
every Tudor rose has its thorns.
And you're gonna hear him live in concert.
There we go. That was a
Something like that,
good
isn't
one.
it?
Yeah, that was 100% right. I was going to say if they are the wrong lyrics, I don't know where they're coming from. This next one, again, I haven't gone with your song. That'd be far too nice. You say it's a pity because yes, it's the
Quoting
hard one.
Leviticus. You say it's a pity because quoting Leviticus, I'll end up kiddyless all my life.
Yeah. Wow, you're powering through this. This one might be
Oh.
difficult for you because you said that they were different. And
Oh.
the lyric is "Soon I'll have to go."
I'll have to go. I'll never see him grow.
Yeah, that
But I
is.
hope my son will know. There you go.
Look,
That one didn't change. It was the very beginning of the
it
song,
was. I can
but
remember.
the lyrics were completely different.
Yeah. Damn. Right. This one's a nice one. Tall, large.
Tall, large, Henry VIII,
Yeah.
Supreme Head of the Church of England.
You're just showing off now, aren't you?
There you go, see. I'm chuffed with myself, actually.
And
Usually
question
I'm like
five,
a sieve.
got one more. Can she bring
Go
it
on.
through? Heard all about these rocking chicks.
All about these rocking chicks. Loved every song and each remix.
Yes, that is
I went out and found
5
it.
out of
Loved it.
5. You
There
have
you go.
smashed the quiz. So all that's left to do is one, remind people that as much as we're having a bit of fun, there's also going to be a link down there to donate to Acting for Others. If you've got anything, just do a little bit because it's nice. And it's
And it
really helpful.
massively helped.
Yeah,
Yeah, massively helped. So
incredibly
many
helpful.
people struggling. So
Yeah, especially
please.
in a 2020 kind of situation.
Yeah.
And
But also no pressure if you can't afford to, isn't
no,
it? Like,
absolutely no.
look after yourselves, but please, if you can.
If you can, there is the link. And also a reminder to check my socials because you're going to find out who's going to be in this Zoom call next. Who's it going to be?
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
I still
Who
don't know.
is it going to be? Can we play a yes or no game?
No,
Are they a girl? Are they a boy?
maybe.
Maybe. Yeah.
Okay, and last, I want to thank you for coming in, Christina, because it's been an absolute joy speaking to you again and finding out everything you have to tell us. That's
Oh, thanks for having me, Robbie. And honestly, this is brilliant that you're raising money for such an
so
amazing
much
cause.
fun.
So well done, you.
I'm
Well done.
enjoying myself while doing it,
Yes.
which is the best thing to do. So apart from that, thanks everyone for watching, and I will see you in the next one, whatever that's going to be. Bye.
Bye, everyone.